Thank you for joining me here at the First Alert Desk on Atlanta News First Plus. As you can see here, a picture of a man we want to tell you about here as we wait moments from now for a news conference where a woman will come forward with her attorneys to announce a lawsuit against a mattress giant in the death of her fiance. You're looking at a picture of Joshua Armour. He was killed in Conyers. He died in Conyers after an incident at Temper Sealy International. We are going to walk you through exactly what happened and what this lawsuit is pertaining to just ahead of those remarks beginning. But I want to start by taking you inside of that room. Again, our camera is still just setting up right now, but once we do get set up, this news conference was called for 10 a.m., and we are going to take you out to remarks from a Metro Atlanta woman who is now suing Temper Sealy International, claiming negligence in the death of her 38-year-old fiance. Now, on October 22nd, Armour, who was suffering from a mental health crisis, went missing that morning. He called his brother and said he was in a dark, unfamiliar place. That's according to the Metro Atlanta woman coming forward with this lawsuit. Through phone location services, Armour's family managed to track him to a Sealy mattress facility in Conyers. Now, a representative allegedly refused to let them in and wouldn't search the property despite their asks after security video showed an unknown person getting into the facility that night. The company told its employees to lock the doors of all its trailers, one of which, unfortunately, Joshua Armour was in. And here's a picture of him again to show you that. This is all alleged in the lawsuit. Again, an investigation still ongoing, but he was found inside of one of the trailers that were locked 6 days later. Now, the Metro Atlanta woman who you will hear from today is being represented by Atlanta-based Sinton Scott Minock and Curie Law Firm, as well as the Kenneth Nugent Law Firm. We are going to take you out to those remarks once they begin, but as you can see, setup is still underway, so let's get you caught up on some of the other stories that we're following in and around Metro Atlanta. And I want to start with this one still making its rounds on social media, as a lot of people are talking about this story, and we're learning more about the frightening incident that forced police to empty Stone Mountain Park. Investigators saying that a man is now dead after dying by suicide. Atlanta News First reporter Madeline Montgomery has more on this story.
It started as a normal hike at Stone Mountain Park for my father.
Started hiking up around 5 o'clock, and on my way down around 5:30, I noticed police were on the mountain with assault weapons.
He called me to say there may be breaking news after seeing dozens of emergency vehicles.
They mentioned that there had been a gunman spotted on top of the mountain.
Witnesses indicated they heard 6 shots. They saw ricochet bullets. They felt they were being shot at. We just don't know.
My dad didn't hear any shots or see the shooter, but he was stopped by police while on the phone with me.
The police asked me to freeze and hold my hands in the air, and at that point they searched me and asked for ID just to eliminate.
While I was scared for my dad, he was worried about other hikers.
Definitely concerned just because of the number of people who I had seen on top of the mountain and knowing how vulnerable people are.
Police began a manhunt and shut down all park exits before spotting a man on top of the mountain with a semi-automatic handgun.
He asked the officer, "You're going to shoot me?" Officer said no, and at that moment he put a gun to his head and shot himself.
Police found a backpack belonging to the deceased man with extra magazines for the handgun he was carrying. What were the bullets in the gun for?
We don't know. The only person that knows the motive is now deceased.
Definitely tragic to have that kind of event happen, and at a place where so many people enjoy for recreation.
Madeline Montgomery, Atlanta News First.
And taking you out to DeKalb, where water service is slowly being restored to thousands of people impacted by this week's water main break. Crews finishing repairs yesterday to the break of more than an more than an 80-year-old pipe on Claremont Road and Dresden Avenue in Chambly. There is still a boil water advisory in effect. We want to make sure that you are keeping your family informed about when you can start using your water as you normally do. Bottled water is currently being handed out at several fire stations and the racetrack gas station on the corner where that break happened. We have those locations laid out for you on AtlantaNewsFirst.com and in the free Atlanta News First app. And new this morning, we're hearing from the Cobb County Superintendent after police say a middle school student turned a gun on herself in a school bathroom. Atlanta News First Sarah Hammond reports from the Cobb County School Board building as parents raise the need for safety measures to be addressed.
One district parent says more needs to be done to keep guns out of schools. He urged the Cobb County School Board to implement safety measures he says other school divisions have been using for a long time. Now, police say a student used a gun to shoot herself in a Lindley Middle School bathroom Wednesday, and she remains in critical condition. And as parents pick their children up, many asked how the student was able to get a gun inside. Well, Lindley Middle School has a school resource officer on campus, but does not have any weapon detection systems or metal detectors. Now, earlier this year, the district hired an anonymous security company to monitor threats, and Cobb County Superintendent Chris Ragsdale says the district spends $35 million annually on school security measures.
We certainly are hopeful, and again, our hearts and prayers and thoughts are with that family. It is understandably impossible to grasp how a child gets to a point where that type of action is their only acceptable choice.
And the district has crisis counselors available for students and staff. In Cobb County, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
Just a reminder with that story and some of these stories that we're following, it is heavy stuff, and we want to make sure that if you are impacted in any way or you are having similar thoughts within yourself, that you know help is available to you, friends or family members in your life. You can call 988 anytime, day or night. It is a 24/7 hotline. Someone will be on the other side of the phone to pick up and listen. All right, I want to talk about this story here involving a homeless encampment clearing that turned deadly. Right now, people in the city want answers and accountability after a unhoused man was killed by an Atlanta City vehicle during that clearing. It happened on Old Wheat Street in Atlanta's Sweet Auburn neighborhood. City officials say the Department of Public Works vehicle was clearing out the homeless encampment near Ebenezer Baptist Church and killed a man in his sleep. Now, witnesses told Atlanta News First they saw city workers roll through with no real regard for who may have been in there. A spokesperson with the Department of Public Works told us they spend days reaching out to the people in these encampments before they proceed with the clearings, and called this incident tragic. In a statement from officials, DPW said it is fully cooperating with the Atlanta Police Department's ongoing investigation. Right now, it's not clear if the city employee who hit the man is facing any charges. There's going to be a vigil at 4 o'clock on Old Wheat Street tonight where this happened. So if this is a story that you want to show up for, that vigil is open to the public, and we have more for you and each development coming out of this on AtlantaNewsFirst.com. As we continue to wait for this news conference to take place, again, monitoring, this was called for 10 o'clock. I believe setup is still underway, but we want to talk about some important weather headlines and some things you're going to want to get prepared for. I want to bring in First Alert meteorologist Ella Dorsey with a look at your forecast ahead.
Good morning, guys. We have quite a few alerts to tell you about this morning. One of them starts tomorrow, so you got to enjoy today because there are some big changes coming up here. We're looking at morning rain tomorrow, and then again tomorrow evening rain. On Monday, we're going to see the coldest air of the season thus far arrive, and then that's going to bring us a chance for snow showers on Tuesday. All right, so again, enjoy today. We're about 2 or 3 degrees warmer than yesterday. The mountains are 6-7 degrees warmer than yesterday. We're sitting in the 40s now. We'll be sitting near 60 degrees this afternoon. That is going to feel fantastic. So you will certainly be able to get outdoors today, go on a long walk, get the kids outside. It's not going to stay dry. Around midnight, we're going to see rain move in, and that rain will be widespread overnight. So if you're out late tonight, you're going to see some of that rain. Here's our Futurecast model. Again, showers arrive in West Georgia around 10 or 11. They move into Metro around midnight tonight. That rain continues. If you're up early tomorrow, 6, 7, 8 a.m., it is going to be raining outside. But again, it's not going to be raining all day. Looks like we'll see a dry slot through the afternoon. Majority of the day tomorrow, between about 10 to 6, looks dry. And then along the cold front itself, we're going to see another round of quick showers move through 6 to 8 p.m. So for your evening plans tomorrow, a little bit of rain moving through. So here's the way it looks. Mid-40s tomorrow morning. Most of us top out in the mid-50s, with the bulk of the afternoon being dry, more rain tomorrow evening. And then we dry out on Sunday, but Sunday that cold air starts to move in. We don't make it out of the low 40s on Sunday. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week will be the coldest days in over a year, the coldest days we've had so far this winter. Here's the feels like temperatures when you step out the door on Monday. Single digits is what it will feel like. -7 in LJ, 5 in Atlanta. That's dangerous cold, okay? So the good news, it's MLK Day, so the kids have off school, so they won't be at the bus stop. But if you're going to be out at all on Monday, you're going to have to bundle up. And that cold, again, will continue through the week next week, and that's going to set up our next chance for winter weather, which will be Tuesday. Same setup as the system that moved through last week that brought us the winter weather. We're going to see a low lift out of the Gulf. If it takes a northerly track, we will see snow showers here in North Georgia. If it takes a southerly track, North Georgia will stay dry. There's growing confidence that the Gulf Coast, including the Florida Panhandle, South Georgia, the Carolina coastline, will see a snowstorm Tuesday of next week. It's just a matter of how much moisture makes it into North Georgia. It's not going to be a question, are we going to see a freezing mix? Are we going to see freezing rain? Are we going to see sleet? No, it's either going to be dry or we're going to see snow showers because it's going to be cold enough for it to be just snow. Take this with a grain of salt. This is just 1 mile. I just wanted to show you this to give you some perspective. You can see those snow showers south of Atlanta on Tuesday evening, but the heavier snow certainly down from New Orleans to Panama City. I can't believe I've even naming these places as places that could get snow. Jacksonville, South Georgia, even Charleston before we dry out on Wednesday. But this isn't the only chance for winter weather. We're going to see a system move in at the end of next week. It will be warmer at the end of next week, but if that system arrives Thursday night, we could see a wintry mix early on Friday. So 2 chances at winter weather next week, Tuesday and next Friday. So got to prepare for it again. The models are starting to become in a little bit more consistency. Right now we're going with a 30% chance of snow showers next Tuesday. Too early to talk totals, too early to talk any of that. But that is something that you should prepare for, as well as the extreme cold. We could see 60 or 70 hours below freezing from Sunday night through Wednesday midday. So if you had pipe problems a few years ago with that massive cold that came through in December, you're going to have pipe problems again. You're going to need to drip your faucets really from the time you wake up Monday all the way through Wednesday morning will be below freezing. Again, we're really not going to be able to nail down the snow probability probably until Tuesday or till Sunday when that low starts to develop. So you'll want to check back in for updates on that and stay warm. It is going to be very cold over the next couple of days. Rodney will be here at 11:30 a.m. with Weather Where You Are, updating you as we will get a new model data in right before that. So he will be bringing you the latest. For now, I will send it back to Maria.
All right, yeah, some important information there. A really good reminder, if you haven't downloaded the First Alert weather app, to make sure you have that on your phone and ready to go ahead of the weather that we are expecting. And again, we are still following for this news conference, waiting for that to begin. I do believe they are still setting up, but just to kind of walk you through the latest on this story. This is involving a Metro Atlanta woman who is now accusing a mattress giant of being partially responsible in the death of her fiance. Now, Jasmine Jennings is bringing this lawsuit forward against Temper Sealy International and several of its affiliated groups. You can see some of the lawyers starting to take their seats there. Again, still waiting for remarks to begin. We'll bring those mics into the room here once they get going, but we're still following, again, for the beginning of these remarks. So while we are waiting, I just want to get you some of the background on this story. Jasmine Jennings suing Temper Sealy International, saying that they were negligent in the death of her 38-year-old fiance, Joshua Armour. Again, she is being represented by Atlanta-based Sinton Scott Minick and Kiro Law Firm, as well as the Kenneth Nugent Law Firm. We will carry those remarks in full, but this basically Armour, who was suffering from a mental health crisis, went missing back in October. The next morning, he called his brother saying he was in a dark, unfamiliar place, according to this lawsuit. And through phone location services, the family was able to track him to the Sealy mattress facility in Conyers, but a representative at that facility allegedly refused to let them in and would not search the property. Now, the lawsuit says that a security video showed an unknown person getting into the facility the night before, and the company telling its employees to lock the doors to all its trailers, one of which Armour was in. Again, that lawsuit alleging that the company was negligent and Armour was found dead in his trailer days later. That's 6 days later. Let's listen in and see if those remarks are about to begin. All right, it does look like they are still waiting for everybody to arrive and get going. Again, this news conference called for 10 a.m. It's now 10:17, so we're just getting, everyone is getting situated, and we will get you out to those remarks. I do want to talk about some breaking news that we got just into our newsroom, and we are live, so we are giving you this news as it comes in, taking you to our website now, atlantanewsfirst.com. Supreme Court upholding a law banning TikTok if it is not sold by its Chinese parent company. That decision coming unanimously under the federal law that bans TikTok beginning Sunday. Again, this all stemming from a national security risk that officials have outlined great concerns for. We are going to continue to monitor this breaking news story and the impacts it is going to have on the app. But for now, I do believe that news conference is getting underway. So let's take you out to those remarks now.
Jasmine Jennings and the family from the Nugent firm, Kate Reddy and Matt Richardson. You know, I was thinking about this case in the context of what we as lawyers say, which is that every case is important, and that's true. Every case is important. But this case is uniquely and especially important to this family because of this loss. And we as the lawyers who have the honor of representing this family feel the weight of that, the gravity of that, to get them justice for what has happened here. And it is also true that every case that our firms decide to handle demand justice for the people we represent. But I think this case particularly calls out for justice and accountability. So we have filed a lawsuit on behalf of the death of Joshua Armour, who was 27 years old when he died. And that lawsuit has started the journey to getting justice for this family. Briefly, within our lawsuit that we filed and the facts of what happened as we know them. On October 22nd, 2024, Josh Armour, who was a father of two, loved by his family and friends, went missing. Josh, like many people in our society, was struggling with mental health issues from time to time, and in the midst of a mental health battle, he went by ambulance to Piedmont Rockdale. And we don't know all of the circumstances of what happened after that, but he did go missing. The night of the 22nd, obviously the family, his siblings, his fiance Jasmine, were very worried about him, frantic about that, in a panic. The morning of October 23, Josh's brother, Joseph, while he was reporting to work downtown Atlanta, got a call from Josh. Josh, during that phone call, himself was panicked, said that he didn't know where he was, that he was in a dark place that he couldn't escape from, and begged Joseph to come offer help. Joseph, through the shared location on their phones, was able to see that Joshua was located at an address in Conyers, Georgia, and Joseph immediately left to get him. During the drive from downtown Atlanta to Conyers, was on the phone constantly with Josh. He communicated with Josh's sister, Keosha, about Josh's phone call and where he was, and Keosha met Joseph at the Sealy facility. Importantly, Joseph's phone that had Josh's location pinned to the Sealy facility there in Conyers. Now, this facility is an open facility, fenced in, that houses buildings and houses, importantly for this case, a number of trailers. These trailers that go on tractor trailers that transport merchandise and mattresses throughout the country house mattresses, store mattresses, among other things, we believe. When Keosha and Joseph arrived at the Sealy facility that morning, they talked to a Sealy representative, someone that we believe was a supervisor, and as you might expect, with panic in their voice and their eyes, very insistent on trying to have Sealy take some action. They informed them that their brother was missing. They informed them that their brother's location pinned at the Sealy facility, and Joseph went so far as to show them his phone to let them know, in no mistaken terms, where Joshua was. They also asked to see surveillance video to see if Sealy could confirm that Josh was on the property. They also asked if they could search the property so they could look for their brother. And they were told during that conversation that they couldn't see the cameras, that they couldn't go on the property search for him. They were asked to leave, and they were asked to contact the police, which they did. And from that day until Josh was found, the family was working with Rockdale Police Department and cooperating with them on the investigation. What the family didn't know on the morning of October 23 is that prior to their arrival, either the night of the 22nd or the early morning hours of October 23, we don't know when, that Sealy had access and did see on their own surveillance video an unidentified individual, as of yet unidentified individual, who had gained access to their facility. He gained access to the grounds where the trailers were housed. And in response to that video, in response to seeing someone, Sealy issued a directive to their employees to lock every one of their trailers. And when they did that, we believe, we now know that they locked Joshua inside one of those trailers. Josh was found on October 29, a full week after he disappeared. He was found in one of the Sealy trailers. He was found during we believe, a routine check by Sealy of their trailers. The death certificate from this incident shows that Josh died on October 29. So there is a lot we still need to know, a lot we still need to learn. That's what we will learn in this lawsuit and as we bring this case to trial. But there are three things I think we know that stand out to us. First, when Sealy did act, we know they acted to lock trailers in order to save their property, save their mattress, and look out for their own bottom line. We know that's the action they did take. We also know that when this family came to them in their moment of need and their moment of panic, in clear, again, unmistakable terms about what was happening to them, we know Sealy did not act. We don't know exactly why they didn't act, but we know they didn't act. And the last thing we know, without question, on the morning of October 23, Sealy had more than enough information to save Josh's life. More than enough information to avoid this senseless tragedy for this family. So these firms and these lawyers are committed to bringing justice to this family and holding Sealy accountable, and we look forward to doing that in this litigation. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Kate for a few more comments.
Thanks, Mark. Josh's case is a case about choices. This is a case about how one corporation's choices have led to an entirely preventable tragedy that's left Joshua's family torn apart and his community in mourning. It's not just about their choice to lock Joshua in this trailer, but it's about all of the other choices that they made when they had every opportunity to save Joshua's life. It's about their choice to ignore the pleas of the family who had Joshua's location and showed it to Sealy. It's about their choice to meet those pleas with indifference, their choice to refuse to review their security footage, their choice to turn away the family, and their choice to not search for Joshua, to leave Joshua trapped in that trailer for a week until finally finding him when they searched routinely. These choices are not just a failure of action, but they're a failure of humanity. They had more than enough information to prevent this tragedy, and yet chose not to step in and exercise the power that they had that would have been able to keep Joshua alive. These choices serve as a stark reminder of the consequences that come from the choice to prioritize protection of property over human life. And we're here today to further our goal with this lawsuit, which is to get justice for Joshua's family, to get answers, and to figure out why this has happened, and to hopefully get accountability that will lead to ensuring that nothing like this happens to anyone else, and that no other families are forced to endure what Joshua's family is being forced to endure. And with that, I'm going to turn things over to Ms. Jennings. She's going to talk about the impact of this tragedy on her life and let you guys know a little bit more about how Joshua was as a person.
Y'all gonna be able to hear her? Yeah.
I would just like to start off by saying that this has been a very painful situation for my family. It's been very hard to try to adjust to his absence because he was such a big part of our lives. My kids are so young, so they don't understand that they're not going to see their father again. And I honestly, myself, don't understand how this could happen. How such carelessness could be taken in this situation. And I just want answers so I can get justice for Josh and my family. And so this could never happen again.
So now if y'all have any questions, we'd be happy to.
While the mic's still there, could you just talk about the relationship, the family lifestyle that y'all had?
Yeah.
What was it like at your house?
Me and Josh have been partners in everything for many years now. We have two beautiful kids together, and they don't understand what it's like now to grow up in a single parent household. We have such a big family, that have been very supportive during this, but just words. I don't know what to say.
What do you hope people remember about him? What do you hope his legacy leaves behind?
Josh was a beautiful person. He was so genuine, so full of love, such a great father. He didn't come from the best background, but he was trying so hard to be the best person that he could be, and to have his life ended so shortly.
How long was your relationship?
We've been together 6 years. He actually, October 23rd was our 6-year anniversary. So it makes it even more painful for him to have gone missing then. Honestly, I don't know what to say in this situation. Just want justice for my family, and I don't think anything can honestly make this right in taking a father from his 2 kids.
What was it like living with the mental issues that he had? What was it like in the household?
It was difficult. It was triggered when his mom passed away in late 2023, and it kind of just became a spiral. It was more so just paranoia, but it affected a lot of things in life, where we did end up having to take a small break just so that he could get himself together, and he was trying to get help. We were trying to get him help. I don't feel a lot of people took the mental health seriously.
I think this part of Joshua's story is one that's very relatable for people. I personally don't know of anyone who doesn't have a friend, a family member, a loved one who's struggled with mental health issues. And when you have something as tragic as the loss of a parent, it's easy for things to get really hard. And Joshua was in a place where his family was trying to support him, and he was actively reaching out for help. And unfortunately, he was never able to get that help. And that's left.
Were you in contact with him the day that he was?
Yes, the day prior. The last thing that we did together, my kids carved pumpkins with him. I heard from him that next day, and after that, I didn't hear from him on Tuesday, the day that we last heard from him. I called him. I heard from him that morning, but I called him that evening on Tuesday. I didn't hear from him. And then when our anniversary came around, I did get the phone call the night before that he still hadn't made it back to his mom's house. And I just thought it was weird because even though we were going through things with his mental health and everything, our anniversary was very important, so I just found it very strange. And I called everybody. I called him several times. Everybody called. And I never heard from him again.
But thanks, guys. I think we told you that's a few questions. If you have other questions for us, we'd be happy to try to answer them.
I have
one
more question.
Yeah.
I know you all said that in between sort of when he made contact with his brother and then the day he was obviously found, the family was working with the Rockdale Police Department. Can you talk a little bit about what that was like? Did the police ever get to go search the property? What sort of steps were taken kind of in the middle of this?
You know, we don't know the specifics of what the Rockdale police did. I think we'll let them speak to that. I know that the family was in constant communication and cooperating in every way they could with the police in the investigation. But I just don't know the specifics of that.
But the police had, just to be clear, the police had been notified that this was going on. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I think an important thing for you all to know, based on your questions to Jasmine, when Joshua had made contact the morning of October 23rd with Joseph, and Joseph was on his way, and Joshua was very panicked. One of the things that he made clear was panicking him even more is that he's trapped somewhere, and he could see the battery on his phone beginning to dwindle down because he didn't have access to a charger and a place to plug it in. He didn't know where he was. But eventually, Joseph unfortunately lost contact with Joshua that morning, and then they were unable to reach him or reach out to him at all. So everyone, understandably had been panicked for days and unable to find out any other information other than the last place he was tracked was to that Sealy facility.
These trailers, is it a very large stockyard? Like hundreds of trailers? Is there...
Dozens of trailers. It's not a particularly large property.
And I think an important piece of information, and it's in the police report, is that these trailers cannot be locked from the inside. Someone could not have, unfortunately, locked themselves into them. They could only be locked from the outside.
Are these like 18-wheelers or like a big freight, like a shipping containers?
18-wheelers.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.